We continue here on TYT Sports. I am Rick. To my left, Robert Littal, and of course, Jayar Jackson. And now we welcome in Scoop B, and you can follow him on Twitter at Scoop B. Oh. Hello, Scoop. How are you, friend?
Hey, JR, Rob, Rick, what's going on, fellas?
What's up, bro?
I'm feeling boisterous.
Fantastic. All right, so you reposted a story on Heavy.com and also on your own Twitter page where you had an exchange with DeMarcus Cousins, and I want to go over this. So you asked him last question. Stephen A. Smith said that he expects the Lakers to make it to the conference finals. Do you agree or disagree? And Boogie Cousins goes, I don't really care. Fuck this Stephen A. guy. I don't care about that. All right, so let's go over this. What else? How exactly did you get on the topic of not only just asking him about the Lakers, but also that it dictated this sort of response? Is there any sort of backstory that we should know about?
Context, I mean, yeah, sure. Obviously, Stephen A. Smith is trending right now. He's dancing in cowboy hats with New Orleans Saints jerseys on. But this had more to do with the fact that, over the summer, Stephen A. Smith had said that, the Lakers have a chance to play against the Golden State Warriors in the Western Conference Finals. And I asked him what he thought. And, Boogie basically said that the Lakers have the best player in the world. Anybody has a chance to beat the Warriors. But before he said that, he said the aforementioned, I don't really care after the Stephen A. Smith guy. It was a funny moment because Boogie is very outspoken and many players are guarded and care about a lot of different things, but he was being himself. Can you be mad at him?
Yeah, I mean, kind of threw me for a loop there on the end with that run-on sentence. Yeah, you can if you want to,
I can't. I can't be mad at him.
So let me just ask one quick follow-up real quick, and then JR will jump in. What is the resounding, like you have sources in different locker rooms, what is the resounding narrative of how a majority of NBA players feel about Stephen A. Smith?
It's split, and I'll tell you why. You and I know each other, Rick. I started my foundation in journalism at 12 and 97, had a radio show with the Nets. I remember when Stephen A. Smith covered the Philadelphia 76ers and Allen Iverson when he was at the Philadelphia Inquirer. But most of these guys that are in the NBA now don't know Stephen A. Smith as the writer. They know him as the television personality. Their parents may know him as the writer. Their parents may know him as the person who, got the scoops with Dwayne Wade, Allen Iverson, and more. But the reality is many people know him on First Take as the television personality. There's a transitional shift there. So to answer your question, I mean, it varies from person to person. I think you really saw kind of the new generation of NBA players and how they respond to Stephen A. Smith specifically when Kyrie Irving did that interview on our First Take, his first interview since being traded to the Boston Celtics. So, they're players who don't necessarily get along with him. You've seen the well-documented stuff with Kevin Durant. I know Stephen A. I respect him as a professional. And, but everybody has a different opinion. I'm not trying to out anybody, but what I will say is it's definitely divided.
Scoop, that's a good point that you make. But do you feel like you said, you've been in media just like I have for a very long time. Is this where media is going? You talked about it was different 10, 15 years ago where, someone like Stephen A. would write a story in a paper about this. And now, we have First Take. We have shows like this. We have social media. You break a lot of stuff on your Twitter account. Do you think players and reporters, because there's much more what I would like to call national interaction where, 10, 15 years ago, if you broke a story locally, it would only be known locally. Now, when you say something on Twitter, it can be pretty much all over and it's going to get back to that player. I just had, Carl Anthony Towns, call me out on Twitter.
Congratulations.
Yeah, no, I mean, but that's just the game now. So when you write a story, the players now have avenues to speak out about that. Do you feel like this is a trend that's going to continue?
Yeah. I think, and kudos to you. Obviously, with Black Sports Online, you've been able to cross bounds, particularly on the internet. Obviously, we know the story about Karl Towns and the story about him and Jimmy Butler. I happen to know Karl. I happen to know his dad, have a good relationship with both parties. And so with that being said, every player has their guy. Stephen A. Smith was cutting edge with that because Allen Iverson was his guy. Allen and Stephen A. both started in Philadelphia at the same time. And so to your point, I think where we are as a society now is players don't necessarily need a national network in order to break their stories because they may have their relationship with that person. When I was in grad school, I took a class on celebrity and changing nature of journalism. I interviewed Mark Cuban, and Mark Cuban talked about how in the year 2011 was when I was in grad school. I don't need media in a locker room in order to break a story. And I think even if a player came out and said something that was groundbreaking, the blogs are going to pick it up regardless. So I think where we are as a society, I think the fact that we have Twitter, the fact that we have social media, and all those other things that happen, I think for Stephen A. Smith, capitalizing off the fact that he has a personality, he's from Hollis, Queens, and he related to all those different players, it was kind of like, no pun intended, like the drug dealer who kind of checked out and now wants to do the legal thing. In comparison to Stephen A. Smith being the beat writer, building all the relationships, getting all the connects, and then going to television. Because people don't read anyway. A lot of people don't read. A lot of people want the 15-second sound bites. And here we are. We have First Take where he's allowed to be himself. And I think in a lot of respects, he set the blueprint.
All righty, Scoop. Appreciate it, man. Thank you so much for joining us.
Gentlemen, a pleasure as always.
You know what's my favorite song? You could ring my bell. So do it, why don't you? Ring the damn bell. And download the TYT app. Available on Android and iOS.